friends, this course is available for free, and in this particular course you are going to learn about the FireChat application using Ionic and Firebase modular version. So we are going to build that up in separate phases. At first we are going to design the FireChat application, we'll design the home screen, and then we are going to design the chat screen too. So these two screens are going to cover up in this particular video. So let's get started with that particular video. And this course is available on YouTube and on Udemy too. And in Udemy it is available for free, and in YouTube obviously it's available for free. So you can just grab that up. And if you want to learn more, there are courses of mine on Ionic with Firebase and Node.js which are available on Udemy, and the prices are limited period. Coupons are there. You can just check that out in the description or in the video description also. So with that being said, let's get started with our today's video. Hello friends. So in this particular video, we are going to design the chat application at first, and then we are going to work with the other stuff that is needed, that is to integrate that with the Firebase Firestore and work with that for real-time database, right? And for real-time chat application kind of stuff we'll build the simple structure only, not very complicated one. So we are going to start with creating a new project, and this is the code, or this is the command line that I have used for creating a new project. So I've opened up the terminal in Mac OS. You can do in Windows and Mac, wherever you like to. And you can run this particular command, but you need to have the Ionic CLI. If you don't have that, well, you can install it from Ionic framework documentation. You will get it out there and you can work with that. And if you haven't checked my courses, which is one is on beginner to advanced level Ionic 6 Plus, where you will learn everything from Firebase to learn a food delivery application. And on the other hand, you have again a beginner to advanced level course where you will learn food delivery application with Ionic 6 Plus with Node.js. So the backend is different, but the front end is almost similar. There are little tweaks in that. You will find it very interesting, and there will be many courses that will be coming up in later future. So get enroll in that if you haven't done that. So if you want to learn completely from beginner to advanced level regarding Ionic or Node.js or with Firebase, then you can get enroll in that particular courses. If you haven't checked that, you will get all the links in the first section, and in YouTube you will get on description. So this particular things is available on Udemy and in YouTube both. So now this is the command that you need to run for creating a blank project whose name I have given Firestore Chat App, which I have kept it as blank, and the type is obviously Angular we are using, right? So this is the one, and I have kept it within the Ionic projects folder which I have already created. So within that, once I do that up, the next thing which I need to take care of is the Ionic account. It asks whether you want it or not. So I've given no. And after that, I need to get inside the project folder and type the command code space dot if you want to open up in Visual Studio Code. So if you don't have Visual Studio Code, everything is stored out there. And if you don't get in the courses one, then you can check my YouTube channel also. You will get it out there in the YouTube one. It's those who are watching the YouTube video of this, so you can just get the links below. I will share it up and how to do all the stuff. All right. And for Visual Studio Code, it's pretty easy to install it up. If you don't get it, if you enrolled in my courses, then I have shown how to set it up out there also. All right. So with that being said, it's time to open this up in Visual Studio Code. After running this code, it will directly open up in Visual Studio Code, and this is the project that is up and running. Now I need to run this project. So I'll run Ionic serve. All right, to run it in the browser, and this is the project. I'll right click and go for inspect. So this is the blank project which we have out here. That's what I need, and I'm using iPhone 13, so you can change it however you like out here. All right, so this is the project which is created. Now I need to work with the designing part of the FireChat application. So let's get started with that. And I'll not show you the design. I have already shown you what exactly we are going to make. You have already seen earlier. Now we are going to just implement it quickly. Let's go with that. So out here in our project, what am I going to do? I'm going to remove this home folder at first. I know I'll be getting few errors, but I need to do that up because I'll be structuring the pages on my own, right? So that's why I'll remove it. Let me remove this one too. All right. Now what am I going to do? Well, at first I'm going to create Let me open another shell. That's the benefit of using Visual Studio Code. It's free and you get a lot of features. Ionic G for generate. You can write generate also instead of G. G is a short form of that. So Ionic G page I'm going to create within the pages folder. Now this pages folder does not exist. It will be created automatically. So after that is done, and I'll name the page as home only, because I want the home page, or you can just have the dashboard also, but within the pages folder I need it. So I can directly copy paste also, but I wanted to create on my own, so that's why I'm doing it. Now this is created. Alright, there is an update version of Ionic CL. I will do it later on because there is hardly some difference. Alright. Okay, now moving ahead, I want another page, Ionic G page within the pages folder, within the home folder, because it will be a hierarchy of the home one, because in the home page we are going to show up the chat rooms. That means one-to-one chats, whatever we are doing, I'll just show the list of that, and after that when you're entering within that, you will get the proper chat messages which are available out there. So it will be within that the chat only, right? So let's see the structure. This is the pages folder. Within that we have the home folder. That is how it is shown in this particular manner, and within the home folder we have all these files for the home page one, and then the chat page is also available out here. Now how is the structure looking? Well, out here everything is good. This is created automatically when we create a new page, and within the home page I will see in the routing one the chat one. That's how it is coming. So how it will look, let me just show you. So as of now, again the home page is showing up. Now if I go home/chat, all right, and hit enter, you will see I'm entering the chat page. So this is the hierarchy that is being maintained automatically. This is the routing and navigation part of Angular that is being used out here. All right. Okay, now our pages are created. It's time to design the home page at first, correct? Let's do that. So in the home page, what am I going to do? Well, I'll pass the toolbar color to be primary out here, because this color is not looking that great, right? Okay, white is not changing. All right. I'm doing it in the chat HTML. Well, we need out there also, but I'll check that later on. Now in the home page, I need to do that at first. Let's check it now. All right, this is changed. Now I'll change the styling, means theming also. Let's do that quickly. So in the theming one, what am I going to do? Well, I'll change all this stuff. So I'll directly replace it. You just check it out and you do as I have shown. All right, in order to create new colors also, well, I have shown in my other courses, so you can just check that out. All right, it's pretty simple, and in some YouTube videos also I have already shown that part. All right, I'll select everything and paste it up. Okay, so we have this particular color. Then the secondary color I think is almost the same. I have just changed the primary color and the light color mostly. Other colors I haven't touched much. Maybe I have, but I don't remember exactly. So I've just pasted everything. You can just check and match everything, whatever you see out here. All right. And for the dark mode also, we have changed as expected. Fine. Once that is done, let's check it out. So there is little change out here in the color. That's pretty great according to me. Now, what am I going to do? Let's play around with some other designing part. So I'll go out here to the home page HTML. Now let's work with this. Now inside the Ion toolbar, at first I'm going to change the title to, let's say, Fire Chat to be the title. And after that, let me have few Ion buttons. One of those will be at the end where I have Alice's vertical outline. You can get it from ionicons.com, ionicons.com. This is a website where you can get the icons. If I search ellipse, okay, this is the one that I have used. So you can simply click on it, it will get copied and you can paste it out there. All right, so let me close this. So this is the one that is coming up. That's looking great. That's what I wanted. Now why I'm using this up, because if you click on it, you will get a popover kind of a design and you can go for the logout button. That is what I'm going to have out there. All right, so what I need to do exactly, let me just show you one by one. But you must be wondering why I'm giving this particular ID to be popover. Well, that's why we are going to use that popover styling out here, and you can get that popover designing from the Ionic framework documentation in the components. If you search for Ion popover, let me just show you Ionic framework documentation components. Let me search for Ion popover. All right, you will get a lot of examples how it can be done. Fine, so I'm just using one of those out here. All right, so moving ahead, this is needed because on click of this button I want to open it up, and after these buttons, within the toolbar only, I'll just pass this Ion popover styling, where an identifier popover is given, which we are going to use in the TypeScript. That's how we can use it up. And the trigger one is very much useful because this is the name that should be same out here. Otherwise, this will be a problematic stuff. It won't work. And the trigger will be, there will be a click action. That is what it is tracking out here. And in the Ion content, well, I've given center, Ion text center, and a click event that will hit the logout functionality, which I don't have right now, but I'll create a function for that and keep it whenever we want to use it later on. Alright, so the error is gone. Now you can have the icon also. Well, I don't want that for the time being, so I'll just keep it as logout. Alright, and the color of that Ion label, I've given it as danger. So this is the design which I have given out here. Let's look at this, how it looks like in our actual output. So if I click out here, you can see this is hovering or popping up, and I can see the logout button, I would say, or you can just simply say any text also that is being showing up. Alright, now if you click on it, nothing will happen, and you don't see any event also, means event will get triggered, but this is not like doing anything, right? There is no what do you say, animation on that when you click on it. So that's okay, quite okay, that's so fine. So now this is also done. We are able to achieve the popover designing also. That's great. Now what is next that I need to do? And one more thing, I want to explain why I have given this Ion button fill clear. Well, if we give fill clear, there won't be anything at outside, means there will be no border for the button or something, and icon only will specify that the icons, only icon will be available, no more text will be available. So the icon will be little bigger than the usual one. Alright, that's why it is given. Anyways, let's move ahead. What is the next thing that I want to do? So I'm doing little things with, so guys, I'm just assuming that you know these things. Well, if you do not know, you can check my YouTube videos or my courses to learn the basic level stuff. So this is little advanced level, I would say, which I'm doing right now. So remember that up. All right, don't complain out there that I'm not teaching each and every stuff. So that's why. Now after the toolbar, I'm going to use Ion segment. Now this is the Ion segment that I'm going to use. I will have 3 Ion segment buttons that I have given, and the value, okay, I'll be using the value, means the default value, which one will be selected in the Ion segment. Let me give out here this particular property, which will be equals to chats initially that I want. Alright, then this on segment change event, I'll copy it up and I'll create this functionality out here. Alright, dollar symbol was important out here because that denotes the event getting triggered, but not out here. I can give anything I want. Alright, why there is an error? Console.log event.detail.value, that's what I'm going to get, or I should show you directly this stuff. I think that will be better. Alright, I don't know why this is getting an error, giving me an error, so I'll just give it of type any so that the error will go away at least. Alright, so let's move ahead, and out here we have 3 Ion segment buttons. Let's check the output of it. So this is the output that is coming up. And I've given mode to be MD, that means the Android design mode that I have given, because I want the dashes out there. That is why. If I don't give that, let me just cut this. Okay, let's see what happens. You will see this kind of a design in iOS. That's why. Alright, I don't want this design. That's why I'm doing this stuff. Alright, so this design is also done. Now what next do I need to do? I need to like change the color of it and do lot many stuff. So let's do that up in the, and in fact this one font style also I'll just change. So let's do that in our SCSS file. So I'll just go to the homepage SCSS file and I'll work out here. So in my Ion header, well, I'm going to paste few codes. So one will be for the toolbar where I've given font family of satisfy and cursive style, and I'll just show you right now, don't need to worry. And for the title, I've given little spacing in their text and font size to be 1.8 rem. That will be better and bigger. And then for the Ion segment, I've given a background color which is primary. Let me just show you. So this is the font family that is changed out here. Then it is getting bigger also, and out here on the Ion toolbar you have background to be primary for the Ion segment one. right? Not toolbar, the iron segment one. And for the buttons, well, I've given font size to be 1 rem. The color that is by default is of light color, and the color that is checked is of white color. That's what I've given out here. If you just focus on it, you will see little difference in the colors, all right? Not much. So this is the design which I wanted. Now let's go ahead and work with the other stuff apart from the iron header. Let's jump into the iron content. Now, first of all, I'll change the color of the iron content to be light color background. It is changed. Now I'll have an iron list out here. So where the iron segment, okay, let me just close it. Iron, what's wrong? Iron list. Okay, I need to close this. Now it's fine. So basically, I'll just show this iron list whenever we have segment value equals to chats. So now remember that I won't be working with the status and calls. This is just for the designing part that I have covered it up. But for the chat one only we are going to work. And if you click the chat one, you will see all the chats. Otherwise, if you click out here or to the calls, you won't see anything. All right. So like I said, we will be designing a simple chat application. So I'll be working with this stuff only. Now in this particular iron list, we are going to work with some iron items. Let's do that. So at first I will be having an iron list header that will hold recent chats. All right. That's what I've named out here. You can in fact name it as chats or whatever you want to. Fine. I've given some padding bottom and some light color back to that iron header. So this is coming up, but I want to change the font size of it. We'll do that. No need to worry in the SCSS, but let's finish up all this stuff, this designing part. Let's do that. So now I'm going to have an iron item where I'll pass detail that will show a dash thing, but we need to have something out here so that I can show you that part, right? All right, let's check it out once. Fine, it is showing. So this is a detail one. If you don't give this detail one, by default in iOS, I think it will show up, but in Android, it won't show up. If you give detail, that means it will set detail to true. You can in fact set detail to false if you don't want to give it in Android and iOS both. All right. Now out here in the iron item, what am I going to do? Well, I will be having an iron avatar, all right, whose slot will be start. Fine. And within this iron avatar, what am I going to have? I will have an image where I'll pass src in this particular manner. Let me just close this. All right. And within this, I'm going to pass a URL. So the URL will be, let's say, this particular URL that I'm going to pass, and I need to pass quotes because I have used these brackets out here. That's why. Now, this particular one is a website which will give some avatar kind of stuff. So I have just given any size. So it will give a image for that. Let's check it out. So this is the image that is coming up. That's pretty fine. I'm okay with that. Now what else do I need after this iron avatar? I need to work with the iron label. So iron label. Let me pass any name out here. Alright. And after that I will have a p tag that will hold the message. Any message. Within the iron text, let's have that. So that we can change the color also if we want directly out here. Alright. So this is the thing that I'm going to have for the message one. And this is the design that is coming up out here. That's looking nice. Now finally, after this iron label, I'm going to have an iron text where color will be medium and slot will be end, that will appear at the end part, and where I'm going to pass the time. So let me give 10:00 AM to be the timing. All right, let's check it out. So this is working, right? Now we need to design this stuff so that it will look nice. Let's do that. So I'll go out here to the SCSS and work with the iron content this time. So iron content, and the designing that we need to give out here is this particular design for the iron list, where I'm having for the iron list header, the font weight to be 600, font size to be 1 rem. That will look like this. All right. Then for this particular stuff, I have given what? Margin top of 2 VH. That will look nice because we have something at the top. Then we have some thing with for the iron label, the font size is being given a little bigger, and for the p tag some margin is given between these two so that these are pretty much clear to understand. Then what have I done for the iron text? I have reduced the font size a little bit so that it looks a little smaller. Fine. I'm happy with this design, so this is what I wanted to do. Right. So this is done. Now in order to show you properly what I'll do, I'll make some copy of this iron item, copy it up, and I'll paste it 2 more times. All right. I won't change the name. In fact, I'll just change the size so that the icon will get changed. Let me give any size. All right. and other things will remain the same. So you can see this particular stuff, but 3 different icons. So that's how it can be done. And if you want to change the names, well, you can simply do that. ABC, something XYZ, whatever name you want, you can just give it out here. Alright, and this is coming up. That's how it is working, correct? Alright, so the basic designing is done for the home page. Now, one thing is left, I think. Yes, we need a floating button out here. Let's work with that, because if you click on that, you can add more chat rooms or create more chat rooms for any other new user, right? So that's what also we are going to cover up. Let's do that. So out here in the Ion content, after this Ion list, I'm going to work with that. So I will be having in Ion Fab, whose slot will be fixed, and horizontally it will be at the end part and vertically it will be at the bottom. Alright, and we have Ion Fab button within that, whom I have given a icon of add, and I've given a click event of new chat. That's what I'm going to create, but I won't be using it right now. Let's keep it out here so that there won't be any error. Fine, error is gone, everything is good to go, and we can move ahead. Now you want to see the design. This is the design that is coming up for the Fab icon or Fab button, I would say. That's what we are going to do. And if you click on it, we will open up a model. Let's work with that also. So for that, I need to use the Ion model. You can check it in the Ionic framework documentation, but I'll do it directly because I've shown many times in the YouTube videos also. Alright, so out here, well, I will have an Ion model. So let me just paste this particular one. So this is Ion model where I've given an identifier of new chat and is open when this particular one is true. So this property I need to create out here. After this one, let me create it. I'll set it to false initially. Let's go to HTML, and this particular function I'll copy and create it out here after the new chat, where I'll pass the event, and again this is giving an error, so I just need to give it type any. Okay, what's wrong? Something got deleted, I suppose. Anyways, now it's fine. Then what is the next error? Okay, cancel function is also there. Let me have that also. So this cancel function will be there to cancel that particular model. Alright, so we are going to work with that right now. Don't need to worry about it. So it will open up whenever this particular new chat is set to true. That's what I said earlier also. And out here in the Ion content, I've given the color to be light. So this is where I'm going to use that up. And this is same the Ion header. Alright, the Ion header, well, there is Ion header out here also. So I need to give a class to it so that I can differentiate between the two. Let me give title header, and out here in the SCSS, let me just pass dot title header. You can directly pass title header instead of writing this Ion header, but I'm just specifying it properly in this manner. Alright, so there won't be any clashes out here. Now, if you click on it, I want it to open up. And for doing that up, what I exactly need to do on this particular Fab button, what have I done? So new chat, right? So new chat will open up when? Let's work on that, because I want to show you how you can open this particular model, right? So out here, I simply need to do what? A simple line. This dot open new chat will be set to true, and we are good to go. Let's check it out now. If I click out here, you can see this is opening up, and this is a design that is coming up, which we have designed in our Ion model. So this is the Ion header that I've given, and with the Ion content that I have worked with. Now for this Ion content data, well, I'm going to create a component. I will show you how to create a component also out here. So we're going to create that component and we are going to design that up. Alright, let's do that. So in order to create a component, I'll go out here, and Ionic G component is another thing that you can work with. So I'm going to create a component within a components folder, because I want to keep all the components in one place, and whichever you want to use, wherever you want to, then you can get it from there itself directly. We can create a different module also for all these components, which I'm going to do later on, but that component module will only be used for few stuff which are common in 2 to 3 pages, but this thing is not common everywhere, so I'm going to use directly into our home page model, right? So I'll be importing that up directly. Let me just show you how it can be done. So components folder will be created automatically, and within that I'm going to have a component which I'll name it as user list. Let me hit enter, and you will see this particular folder is created, and within that we have the user list component that is getting created, and within the user list folder we all have that Now I'm going to call that particular one in my home page module. In the declaration, I need to call that up. So out here you can see suggestion is coming up for the user list component. So I'll just hit enter and it is imported, right? So we can directly use it out here. Suppose in the HTML I want to use it. So in the Ion content, I can directly have app user list. That's how we can use it up. All right. Now in the app user list, means this user list, I'm going to design this up quickly. So let's do that up. So basic agenda of using components is to break up your stuff in 2 to 3 parts, means in various parts, so that you can reuse it whenever you want to. All right. Or even in some cases, you can shorten up your code in this particular manner too. Now I'll simply paste the code. Now, out here, I'm using an Ion item where I'm just passing lines to be full. And if you click on it, it will redirect you somewhere. Then detail to true, I have passed it out here. Fully I have passed this time. And well, I have given an Ion avatar whose slot will be set. Same to the one that we have done for our earlier Ion list of when we were doing for the homepage one. Well, we have some errors. I'll get rid of that. Don't need to worry about it. And the same thing it's being done out here also. Ion label is being used, but no p tag is there and no Ion text slot end is there. So this is the difference. Let me get rid of all the errors. I'll have an Ion input at first. Input decorator I'm going to use out here from Angular core, which I'll name it as item. So that's what I need for the first part. This item error is gone, but out here I have another error because I need to give a type. That's very important with TypeScript, so I need to give the type of it. And once that is done, what next do I need to do? Well, I need to create this redirect function. Let's create that up, redirect function. Fine, that's what I want. And do I need to style it a bit? Well, we will check that when we see the design, right? We can't judge it right now. So for the time being, well, in the home page, what am I going to have? Well, I will not have it directly. I'll have it within an Ion list actually. So this will be my Ion list, and within that I'm going to pass this particular stuff. All right. So this will be the design that will be coming up out there. But I need to pass some item in order to check that out, right? Otherwise, even if I click out here, I will see, okay, one item is showing up at least, but there is nothing out there, right? So I need to get that item at first. Now let me just do one thing. I'll have an ng if out here where I'm going to check if users exist or not. Now this users will actually, I know that it's going to be an observable array because I will be using the not async array actually, the observables for using it up, because we are going to use the real time thing, right? So let me just use users of type observable, okay, of any array. That's what it's going to have. All right. Now out here it is giving again some errors. It is saying has no initializer. All right. So I don't want to initialize it to any value. So in order to get rid of all these errors, let me just do one thing. I'll go to the tsconfig.json file and I will set strict to be false. I think that will work for us in order to get rid of the error. No, it's not working. Okay, it worked actually. All right, so you can just do that up. Strict checking, I don't want that for the time being. Otherwise, it will lead to some other issues. Okay, once that is done, we are good to go. Now, what next do I need to do? I will directly do what? So this is an observable array. That's what I know out here. So I'll just make it sync, but I won't be able to see the data. All right, so in order to check the data, instead, what I can do, okay, instead of passing this particular stuff, let me initialize to an array where I have some object. I think that will be better. So I'll just give some ID to be 1, name to be Nikhil, and what else was there? Nothing else, I suppose. The photo, right? That was there. So I'll just use the avatar p avatar 1. Where was it? This is the one. Let's use this, use this up in our TypeScript, and I'll paste it. Okay, and if you want one more, then I'll simply copy this up and paste it once again. I'll give the ID to be 2, name some XYZ. All right, and I'll change this particular one so that the icon will get changed. Otherwise it will show the same icon, which I don't want. Now what am I going to do out here? Well, where were we? Okay, yeah, out here. So this users, I know that it will be an observable array later on, so I'll just make as user dot any other name that I'm giving out here, so that I can directly use, because later on we need to use the async pipe for this particular stuff. So that is why I'm doing this stuff. And out here I'll simply use ng4 and I'm going to loop this particular stuff out here. So let me just do it directly. So let me just select this up and I'll paste it. So this is the stuff that I'm going to have. I'm just looping it up and I'm passing the title in the item one that we have out there in the at the end input decorator for the ion list component. The name should be same out here, this particular one. All right, and then I have given an on click event that will also be triggered from there itself. So that will be the output decorator that I'm going to use. So let me just have this output decorator out here so that we can connect with this particular stuff. And so after this, I'm going to paste it up. This is the output decorator that I'm going to use, the on click one, which will emit an event. Let me import everything. And after that is done, well, when you just go to the redirect one, it will redirect you to some other place. Whichever item is selected out there, that particular item value, the whole object will be passed in the event. All right, and that event will be triggered directly out here in the start chat. So I'll just have this start chat out here. After this, let me have it. Within that, we have an event, or the item also you can give. Let me pass item instead of the event, and we can work with that. So no errors as such. Now let's check it out here. If I click on it, you see that these two are coming up, right? But I need to design it a bit. So let's go out here to the iList SCSS, and I'm going to paste some designing out here. So this is the one that I want. I've given some margin to be 90% because I don't want to take it the full width. That's why if you click out here, you will see 90% margin. Width is taken and auto margin so that it can arrange left right automatically. And then I have given some padding also of 1 VH padding bottom. Then a border radius of 5 pixels. That is why it is little rounded out here. That's what I want, and it is looking lovely out here. And if I click on the cancel button, nothing is happening as of now. Let's work with that quickly in our home page. What am I going to do now? The cancel button, in order to work with that in the TypeScript, we need to play around with some stuff. Let's do that. So actually, I'm going to work with two things. One will be the model controller and the other one will be the popover controller, because I want to close the popover controller also, right? And for that, we already have the identifier popover. And for new chat, we have the new chat one. That's pretty okay. I'll import everything one by one. Once that is done, the next thing what we need to do is to work with that. So first of all, I'm going to work with the cancel function, where I'm going to pass this .model.dismiss function, and open new chat, I'll set it to false, then there won't be any problem. So let's check it out here. If I open this up and I click on the cancel button, it's gone. So that's what I needed. And it is working pretty nicely out here. That's great. So for the popover one, well, I'll work with that also in the logout one. So let me work with that. So I'll simply pass this.popover.dismiss simply, and it will work. If you want to check, if I click out here, it's dismissed. That's great. So this is working. Our homepage design is properly done. All right. Now we need to design the chat one. Let's go for that. So if I click out here, will it open up anything? No, for the time being, but we need to work with that. Let's do that up. So I'll just go out here in the home page at first, and the way we have done this part, let's do the same out here too. I think that will be easier to work with then, right? Instead of passing all the data in this particular manner, let's loop it up, because later on we need to work with that stuff only, right? So I'll just close two of those. All right, and in here, let me open it up. And what am I going to have? Well, I'm going to pass few things. One will be the ng4 let item of rooms, then click event, get chat, then detail to true that I have set. All right, so this is the thing that I wanted. And after that, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to keep the data as it is because I don't want to change it a lot more. So instead of rooms, for the time being, let me pass any array of 1, 2. So it will give 2 items. So it will show 2 items out here. If you want 3, you will see the 3 things. So for the time being, let me keep it as it is. Or you want to do something extra, then let me just show you how you can do it up. So out here, I'll just give few more stuff. So I'm just passing this particular stuff instead of async. For the time being, I won't pass async because I'll use it later on, right? For the time being, I'll use this particular chat room the way we have worked with the user one. So I'll just simply copy it up and paste it out here. for the chat rooms. Fine. So this is the one that I'm going to use, and in the HTML, well, I need to get this get chat function. So many functions actually, but let's do it. And within the get chat, I have the item actually. So let me just pass the item. All right. Once that is done, our HTML is ready. Correct. Now this particular stuff, well, should I change? All right. Or should I keep it like this for the time being? I will change that later on. That will be better, right? Instead of that, we have this particular stuff up and running, so that will be better instead. Now, when I click on this particular one, what I'll see, that will be handled by this get chat, I suppose, right? Yes. So we need to work with that now. Alright, so if I click out here, I need to redirect to the chat one. So let me just do something in our TypeScript file. I will redirect directly to the home/chats, which I'll name it later on, where we will have the item.id, and then nav data. If we have any, we will pass that particular data, but for the timing I don't have any data. And this nav.id, let it be. And this router, well, I need to get it out here in the constructor private router from router that will be imported from @angular/router. And this observable, I'll keep it, I'll be using it later on, no need to worry. Alright, so no more errors, I suppose. Private, that's okay. What is giving an error? Okay, unnecessary errors were there. Anyways, it's gone now. Alright, so everything looks fine. I think I'll be redirecting, but out here I need to check few stuff in the routing module, because this is just chats. I need to get out here the :id, because I want to fetch the ID of the chat also, which I'll be getting out there. But right now we just have a simple 1-2 ID that is being given. Alright, let's just check it out here. If I just click, okay, it's not working, and I get an error. Basically it is saying the requested path contains unidentified segment at index 3. What that means? Alright, get chat item of 1 2 3. Instead of 1 2 3, I need to give chat room, not chat room exactly. Let me just show you what exactly I'm going to do. I'm going to pass rooms, this rooms. Alright, so whenever you just pass as something, so that name is renamed to this particular stuff. That's what I've done at the bottom also, and out here too. Now you will get the proper names. So two things are coming up. If I click out here, this time it is showing up and I have the ID 1. If I go back and click out here, you will see ID 2. So this is how it is working, right? So anyways, this is working for us. That's great. Now I'll just go to the HTML. First of all, alright, the name is already changed. Let me have the name out here, because I want to at least change the name, right? In item (name), because I don't want the same name to occur, right? Alright, now it's fine. And for the image one, let's get it from there itself only. Item.photo ? Will be better. Now at least we have some different images. That's great. Alright, so too many things we have done. Now it's time to design this chat 1-2 quickly. Correct? Let's work on that. So now let's go to our chat HTML. So let's work with this particular one right now. So I'll first design the ion header, and this chat title, well, it will change based on the name with whom you are chatting. So I'll make it dynamic out here. So let me simply pass name of type string, and initially let me just pass any sender. Okay, sender only. I'll just give the name to be sender only. Alright, and in the HTML, let's work with the designing part. So instead of this simple header, I'm going to have an header where I have the toolbar of color primary, and I've given an add button so that you can go back to the home page from here directly. That is why I've given default href. Even if you reload the page, you can still go back to the home page from here itself. That is why I've used this iron back button. Alright, now let's check it out. So I'll go out here. You can see this back button is showing up. If I go back, this is working. Correct? So that is what I want to show out here. That's pretty nicely working. That's great, in fact. Now in here, I need to design a lot of stuff. So let's go with that one by one. So out here at first, I need to work with the iron content, of course, where I'm going to pass scroll events to be true. That's very important to pass scroll events, because we are going to play around with the scrolling one also out here in the iron content. That's why I've given that up. And if you just want to learn more about it, you can just check it on the internet, how you can work with the scroll events or something, and you can go to the Ionic framework documentation on the iron content and check that out, what does actually it means. Alright, so anyways, I have just shown the scroll events to be true so that I can just check it out. Anyways, now let's get inside that. Ion content and work with the other stuff. So instead of working with the Ion content at first, let me work with the Ion footers. That's gonna be interesting. So let me just paste it up. So this will be my Ion footer where we'll be having a text box and a button for sending the message. So I'm using a text area for the text box inside the toolbar, which will auto grow based on the size it is having. If you just hide the button, it will grow, and that's how it's going to work. You can remove that if you don't want. All right, row size I've given 1, then placeholder, send message. I've centered everything so that whatever text you're writing, it will be centered up. Then ngModule will be the message. Let me just pass it out here. Whatever message you are typing, you will get that of type string. All right, error is gone. Then is loading. By default it will be false. Do you want that or what? So what basically am I doing out here? I'm using a fab button which will show up if is loading is false. All right, and if it is true, then a loader will show up. That's what I have done. So I need this particular is loading property also. Is loading, that will be set to false initially. All right, all the errors are gone. Oh, one error is left. Send message function is necessary. Otherwise, how we are going to send the function, right? Sorry, send the message, not the function, send message function. All right, all the errors are gone. So this is the stuff that I have used for the Ion text area. Then I have used an Ion buttons whose slot will be end, where I'm passing the Ion fab button this time, in which we have the icon of send one. And after that, another fab button is used, which will be either this or this one. Any one will be used. If you have clicked on it and you're trying to send some data or send the message to the actual server, then definitely this loader will come into play and it will show this particular spinner, which is named as crescent. So it will be a loading spinner in this particular manner instead of the button, so that you don't click that button again, because there is no click event out here, right? That's why it is being done. Now let's check the design. So this is the box that is coming up. That's great. We can work with the designing part of it later on. All right, for the time being, let's work now with the Ion content. So in the Ion content, what exactly I'm going to do, and if you want to know about Ion content, let me just show you. I feel curious to explain you all the stuff. So Ion content, this is the one. Let me search for scroll events. So scroll events are disabled by default for content due to performance. So basically what is this? If you just scroll, this particular bar is showing up, and this is set to false by default. All right, so we can remove that also if you don't want. Why to complicate things a lot? I don't want that. Say okay, that's great, let it be. Now in the Ion content, what am I going to do? I'm going to have an Ion list where lines will be none, no lines will be passed, and I've given an ngIf of chat, which will be an async only, but I'll just remove this async for the time being, and let me have some chat array out here. Chats will be equals to an array. All right, where I'm going to have the ID to be, let's say 1, then the sender who is sending the chat, let me pass 1 only, because the ID that we will get, okay, this will be an object actually. All right, now the error is gone. So the ID that we will be getting from there, from the URL, let's say it is 1 or 2, I'll be checking with 1 only. That is why I've given sender to be 1. And any message, let me give message to be hi. All right, that's what the message gonna be, and I'll copy it up and I'll paste it once again. Let me have the sender 2 second time, and ID will also be 2, message will be hi there. Okay, so these 2 messages that I'm going to use, and the sender ID is different in both the cases. That's what I'm going to track to show your sender, means if you are the one who is sending the message, and it will show on the right side, my right, and the other ones will be shown on the left side. So that's what we will be working with that. Now we are having an error because we don't have any component called chat box. So let me just do that up quickly. So let's create a component, Ionic G component, within the components folder, and I'll name it as chat box. Okay, along with that, I'll create another component which I'll name it as empty screen. If you don't have any chat, you want to show some error screen or empty screen, that's why we will be using that up. All right, everything is good to go. So now let's fill this particular stuff quickly, but before that, let me go to the chat module and get this chat box imported and declared out here, chat box component. Now the errors will be gone, I suppose. No, still we have, because we need to work around with this particular component in order to get rid of the errors. So let me just have two things, this particular two things, and now let's check it out whether the error is gone. Okay, chat service. Well, we don't have the chat service for the time being. We will create that up. For the time being, let's have this current user ID. Let me just pass current user ID to be equals to 1. All right. Okay, the spelling is different. Let me copy and paste. Alright, now the error is gone. Great. So TypeScript is also ready here, and the next thing that I'm going to work with is the HTML part. Let's work with that. So out here I'm going to directly paste few code where I am having at first the ion item where lines will be none. Let me just place it in this particular manner. And the class, well, this is very important, the class. So the class is depending on the sender. If the sender is equals to the user ID, the current user ID, that means if sender is 1 and the current ID is 1, then that means it is a user. That means I have sent the message, or otherwise someone else is sending. That is why I've checked out here. If it is not equals, then that means I need to call the class called sender. That means I'll show it on the left side, my left, and if it is user, that means if both are matching, then it is a user, and it will be showing on the right side. So the classes and designing differs based on this. All right, that's what I have done out here. And then on the ion label, well, I have passed slot. Then this slot also matters where I'm placing it up. So the slot is end or start. It totally depends on like what is the sender. If the sender is me, then I will be placing on the right side, on the end side, or otherwise on the start side. That's what I've done. In the class, I have passed ion text wrap. That's what I have used. Then I have passed a ion text out here where I'm passing the chat message. Whatever message will be passed, it will be shown out there. Then finally, I'm having a created ad. Okay, this thing is not needed actually. Later on, it will come into play. So I will be having a created ad also, which will set out the timer. Okay, now let me just have that up, or should I directly get rid of this, comment this up? Okay, let me undo this and comment this up, and I'll copy it once again, paste it out here. Instead of this whole complicated stuff for the time being, I'll have some simple timing. That's better. 10 a.m. That's great. All right, just randomly I'm giving 10 a.m. I'm not curious to have 10 a.m. timings. And then finally the icon. Well, whether the icon will be okay of color light, or this is a check mark, if it is checked or not, means that read one I'll be having out here. So just for the designing part, I'm just giving the color of light and primary based on the colors that I'll be using for the background one. All right. So if I have sent it, then I'm simply going to have the light color, otherwise the primary color will be there. Alright, so this is the basic designing that I'm going to have. Now let's work with the CSS of it. Or should I show you the thing? Otherwise you won't be able to understand, right, what exactly I have done. So this is the thing that is coming up for the time being. So hi there and hi, that is coming up out here, which is looking great. This hi is sent by me because I've given the sender to be 1, that is matching with the current user ID. And this is not me, this is someone else which has sent me the message. So it is pretty clear out here, right? Now let's work with the designing part and get this done. Let's go there. So in the SCSS, it's very important to work with this now. Let's get that done. Now I'll start off with the ion item designing, where I'll pass few CSS properties of ion item. That is background to be transparent, padding start to be 8 pixel little bit. I have checked it out and I've given it up. Then for the end 0 and safe area left, means that's what I'm tracking, to have some spacing between left and right part. That's what I'm doing. And what is the minimum height of both the boxes. Then border width, I've set it to 0 because there was some border width out there. Now how it looks like, you can see some spacing little bit. Alright, the next thing that I'm going to work with is the ion label within the ion items. So ion label, where I'm going to pass this particular stuff, position to be relative, border radius to be 12 pixels, and padding to be 4 pixel to the top and bottom, and left and right 8 pixels, margin top I have given to be 12 pixels, and max width of the ion label, that's what is very important, I've given 70% of that. So that means I have reduced it to 70% for both the cases, so that it won't exceed and it won't look bad out there. All right, that's what I've make sure that it works in that particular manner. All right, so this is what I have done. Still now you won't see any change. Let's work with some other styling, then you will see a lot of changes, right? Because the boxes are not visible properly. We need to change the color of that. All right, actually I'm making a mistake. I'm passing it in the chat page. I need to pass it in the chat box. That's why I was thinking like why I'm not getting any output of it. All right, now I will see something. Now it's in the proper place, and I do see little gapping out here, but still not clearly visible any changes. Let's work with that again. So in the Ion label, I'm going to work around with the Ion text and Ion note. So for the Ion text, well, I have given some font weight to be a 400, then font size I have changed, and after means the Ion text when it is visible, that at that point of time I given height and width and display to be inline block, center line top. Okay. So that's how it is changing in this particular manner. Well, if I don't give this stuff, you will see what happens for the Ion text, because in the Ion text, what it holds the chat message. So what if I don't give this? You will see what happens if I don't give that. You see, this is what it is working out here. So that's why we need to give this particular stuff so that on the left and right side both ways it is properly visible. Now it's fine. Correct. It is showing up. All right. Once that is done, on the Ion note, I have given position to be relative, flex at direction I have display I have given right and bottom 0. If I don't give all this stuff, you will see now what happens. You see, this is the difference. If I don't give that up, it will take the 70%. It will try to capture all the space, which I don't want that. That is why I'm just working around with all this stuff. All right, I hope you are getting it. That's why position absolute is very much important out here. That is why I've given right and bottom to be 0. And some padding and line height is also given so that it will be fixed properly, and pointer events to be kept to auto, and I've given some color to be medium color. That's pretty okay. So the Ion node is basically holding this particular time. All right, so I don't want any spacing out there for the time one. That's why I've done this part. So it's like not having any time only. Anyways, that's great. Once this is done, we are good to go ahead with the other stuff that we need. So what is the next step that we need to work with? Well, we need to work with the sender and user classes. So I'll directly have that up because that is very complicated to understand a little bit if you don't know about all this stuff. So I've just pasted in. I'll try to explain you a little bit about it because we are running out of time. It is getting longer and longer. So in the sender one, I've given after the view, after you get the data, what is happening, I've set the position to be absolute, border to be 0, solid, transparent, and that's how the design is coming up. First of all, you just check that out. All right, and this is the sender one. Sender means this particular one. All right, so when we are tracking that up, we are setting the border top color to be transparent, means I'm setting everything to be transparent, and then border top I have given 9 pixels solid light color. All right, border top means this type of this stuff. All right, top border. So I've given a border radius of 0, 20 pixels and 0, and a height and width of like 15 pixels and 30 pixels. Okay, so that is also fine. Then I have transformed. If I don't do this, you will see what happens because I'm doing all these things for this particular one. All right, not for anything else. So this is the height and width that I'm maintaining so that I can have that particular chat box type of stuff, right? So in order to get that done only, we are doing all this stuff, and I'm playing around with the bottom and left so that I can align it properly out here. All right, so it's becoming a tail of this particular box, which is looking lovely, and this all border radius and everything belongs to that only. Similarly, for Ion label, what am I doing out there for this particular class? I'm having some margin left to be 8 pixels, background to be light. Let me have margin left. All right, we have that. It's working. All right, but out here we have lot much of a space, but that's okay. And the Ion text, well, I have given some width to that. So basically all of these are for this particular stuff only. Now for the Ion node, I have just changed the styling a bit. I've given margin right to be 2 pixels and line height to be 16 pixels. And for icon, I have changed. This is the icon check mark, whose font size I have increased a bit. Well, if I don't give all this stuff, this Ion label stuff, you will see what happens. If I don't give that, you will see this is just touching the corner part and this is not looking that great, right? So that is why I have done all this designing part in order to get that done. Fine, that's what it's done out here. Similarly, if you understood this particular part, So this iron text is basically the message part where I've given the width to be 72 pixels. If you don't give that up, let's see what happens. So basically it is, if you have a bigger text, then you will have some problem. That is why I've done that part, and so that it is properly matched. If you have a different line, then also it will work pretty nicely, I suppose. Anyways, let's move ahead for the user one, because we have the same thing, only just the border bottom is changed to the primary color, because we have the same primary color out here, right? And for the iron label also we have the background to be primary, otherwise out here for the sender one we have the light color everywhere, correct? So that is very important to understand. That is why I've given everywhere transparent, so that we can just look at this colors pretty nice. This is the light color and this is the primary color, and this inside colors of the timing is also changed out here, and the text color is also changed along with the icon color too. All right, so everything is just the same, but that part only changed out here. Okay, along with that we have also worked around with the bottom and right out here, because the position is absolute, so we need to place this particular stuff in an opposite manner. That's why it is very important to work around with that in order to achieve the same result. That's what I've done out here. So you can play around with that. If the things changes for Android one or anything else, then you can play around with this particular stuff out here. Everything seems to be okay for me. If it is not in your case, then you can play around with this stuff with the styling part, and you will get the desired result. Okay, now moving ahead to the iPhone 13 only. Let me just reload it up. Okay, good to go. So designing part is done for the chat box and it is looking great. Now we need to play around with the chat page SCSS for working with the bottom part and doing some styling out here too. So in here directly I'll set the background to be transparent for the iron list in the iron content, and for the footer toolbar I have given some padding, and for the text area, well, I have given the border to be the medium color, and the border radius I've given a little bit of 20 pixels and some margin too. So doing that, this looks something like this, which is looking nice actually, I would say. And if you want to change the color of this particular footer, you can do that up, but for the time being I think I will keep it in this particular manner. Even if you want to change, you can simply pass the color of this toolbar to be, let me give, okay, I have given something over out here. No, color of the toolbar to be what, light color? Should I do that? Now this is looking nice actually. Light color is much better than the medium color. Now it's lovely, I would say. Alright, that's great. So once that is done, our designing part is done and this is also ready. So you can work around with this particular stuff now. Alright, now we can like integrate this particular stuff with our Firebase and work around with this live or real-time chat application. Alright friends, so this is the design which I wanted to show you, and we have successfully built that up. So I hope you must be liking this particular design. So if you like this particular video, please hit the like button. Do subscribe to the Coding Techniques channel. If you haven't seen that, please do subscribe if you're new. With that being said, I'll wrap up this video out here. See you in the next one.